That should be working. This is the Bobby Freakout, Daily Freakout, something I don't even know what I'm talking about. And that's coming in with a slight echo in my ear, which is fantastic. This is Monday the 15th of September. The year is flying past us. I'm sure I'm not the only person who almost every year gets to a certain point in the year and goes, oh my God, how the hell did we get to this point of the year already? It feels like the year just started. But there is a lot of optimism in my life at the moment because the weather is getting warmer here in the southern area of Australia. I have noticed the buds on some of my trees are coming out. The things are growing really well. I don't have to wear quite as many clothes to bed. I don't have to have as many blankets on the bed. It's all fantastic. It's very, 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 very nice. As much as I enjoy winter and I enjoy rugging up with a good blanket and stuff, I am quite looking forward to... I'm doing a bit of a spring clean for the rest of today and tomorrow, and I'm really quite looking forward to... Oh, pardon me. The warmer days, the warmer months, as it were. The part of Australia that I'm in is not the hottest by any realm, any stretch of any imagination, and I kind of like it like that. I like the fact that in the heat of our summer down here, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt to the beach, but I don't spend the entire time fanning myself and being worried about sun damage. It's quite nice. So you can go for a walk and have a run and get sweaty, but you're not going to die of dehydration down here. And it's fantastic. The other really big exciting thing for me is that I gave the dogs' beds, blankets a wash last night, and they're out on the line right now. They are outside because today apparently here in my neck of the woods it's going to get to 22, which that's a great temperature. 22. It's fantastic. There's been a few little technology changes here in the studio, which means that things aren't hooked up as I would like them to be. Hence why we've got the ukulele back, if anyone was curious as to why the ukulele's back and we're not doing the automated play. We don't have any sound effects, nothing like that. Although I think if I do that and then go, I can get applause. That's really nice. That's about the effect of, or the extent of our effects today. Anyway, the Daily Freakout. Let's talk about the world. I, like so many people that do these kind of podcasts and things, I'm probably going to be the 100th person to say, I don't want to talk about Charlie Kirk. I didn't want to talk about him before he died. I don't really want to talk about him now. But what I find super interesting is the response. And I'm, again, not the most original talking point because many people are talking about the response to this. The absolute absurdity of the American government at the moment, treating him like some war hero when he was a douchebag podcaster at best. And yes, someone could come into the comments right now and say, well, you're just jealous. And that would be true. Oh my God, it would be true. I wish I could make money grifting off people by commenting or having strange debates and things with people that I get. I'm sure these kind of situations, and this is probably what most of this episode is going to be about in terms of the media that we ingest. I don't think I've seen a truly positive thing from Charlie Kirk ever. I've only ever seen quotes that were outrageous and kind of disgusting at times, and I've only ever seen him debating university and college students where he came off as an absolute loser. The debate style that he seems to have had was one of, if I bluster and talk over the top of you and just go, prove me wrong, and slam my mic down, then I've won the debate. And that to me is not how you win a debate. And I've always felt that that kind of person comes off second best and comes off badly. Yet it appears that people seem to think that that way of doing things and that way of talking about things is a real positive way of getting by. In a small workplace disagreement the other day, I was told, "Oh, you always have to be right," and it's like, well, if I then say, "No, I don't always have to be right," am I effectively saying that I'm right? Which then the person goes, "Oh, see, I gotcha." So it's not about I got you. It's about trying to be right. I don't care if I'm wrong, because the minute I find out that I'm wrong, I can then change my view and be right. So whatever discussion and debate we have, I want you to convince me. I want you to show me and prove to me that it is true or real or whatever. Another good example would be on God and religion. I think a lot of atheists would say that if somebody can give me definitive proof of a deity, I will become a believer, because then there is definitive proof. And up until that point, I do not believe. And if you are having a debate with somebody about religion, it would be to the point of you can't just go, "Yes, well, I saw a miracle, prove me wrong," and put your mic down. You would have to say, "Here's the evidence for that miracle. Do you believe this evidence? Do you not believe this evidence?" Etc., etc. At which point, most of the time when religious people talk about the evidence for their miracles and stuff, you go, "Well, no, that's not good enough evidence." But Kirk's style of debate and of talking for free speech and stuff seemed incredibly counterintuitive, and didn't seem to do what he and his followers seem to think it did. At least from my perspective, I genuinely am seeing so much stuff these days, and this is a prime example of it, where I feel like I'm a little bit insane, because all the bases for my beliefs, they still hold up. But all these other people are out there acting like crazy people. And part of me is like, well, wait a second. Who's the crazy person then? There's no evidence of a God, yet all these people go, "Oh, there is a God." And it's like, well, wait a second. Are you insane, or am I insane? And so it's a weird sort of, part of me just wants to throw my hands up and say, "No, that's it. No more religion, no more politics. I don't care. I'm going to go off into the bush." But at the same time, how do you not engage in this world that we live in? Anyway, one of the quotes that I want to bring up, that's very interesting and is so so telling in the way that the American consciousness seems to be at the moment, is this one. "It's worth the cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment." So in a way, he's saying that it's okay that he was shot and that he was killed. In a way. I know that's obviously not what he was really saying. He was happy for other people to die, not for himself. Somebody said in regards to this, "You live by the sword, die by the sword." And some of the stuff that he promoted and talked about, where it was always very racist talk, where the blame was always put on non-white immigrants and black people and all this other stuff and the poor and all that kind of thing, when almost finally somebody from that sphere has been affected by this. Because as we all know, this kind of outrage, again, the response is what I find the most interesting of all this. This kind of outrage didn't happen for the senator, her husband, and her dog that was shot not that long ago. 2 months, I think it was, in America. An actual elected official, not a podcaster. And It didn't happen. This kind of outrage didn't happen for all the school shootings and all the other stuff. Yet for some reason they're holding vigils. The fact that there was a vigil for Charlie Kirk in Australia is so worrying to me. The kind of comments that I'm seeing online where people are promoting him and talking about him and wanting to be positive about him and thinking that for some reason his shit is applicable here is just, it's so worrying. And it gets me back onto the religious side of things. And here's another quote from him. All death can do to the believer is deliver him to Jesus. That I find incredibly worrying as somebody who doesn't believe in Jesus or an afterlife or anything like that. And part of me thinks that this kind of religious talk and religious ideology and mindset is only a way of coping with life. And it's a delusional way of coping so that you think that if I die, I'm going to go to God and to Jesus. And it's like, well, why don't you just kill yourself then? Why don't you go to God? If this world is so terrible and the next life is so great and you're a good person and you're a good Christian or whatever, maybe just going to God is the next thing for you. But I want to make it very clear, that's why I've changed camera angles, that I don't agree with that, and I don't believe in suicide as an answer to make things better. It doesn't make things better. All it does is stop the suffering. So in very few slim situations, I'm okay with it. Don't like it, and I miss the people that I've known that have had that happen, and I've seen the negative consequences of that happen. So it is not a good thing. So don't, I'm not telling Christians to kill themselves. Not that anyone's watching or listening to this, so it's not like any of them are going to be like, oh, that Bobby Freakout guy told me to kill myself, so I'm going to go kill myself. Don't kill yourself, because this life can be awesome. Get rid of the delusion and live in the reality of life. The reality is that we are animals, and we still, even though we've got spaceships and rockets and computers, we still act like animals pretty much all the time. We can move past that and move on from that. Here's some more Charlie Kirk to annoy us. He said that it was a mistake to pass the Civil Rights Act in 1964. That's straight up racist. Like, you can't, there's just no way you can say that that's an acceptable thing. He called MLK Jr. awful and said he was not a good person. If I know correctly, because obviously I'm a podcaster that no one's listening to, but I'm pretty sure he was referring to the fact that MLK Jr. was he cheated on his partners and stuff like that. It's what you find to be the most important in life really matters sometimes. And even though I'm against cheating, I don't think it's sensible and it's not a good idea. If you think that makes someone a bad person, then you don't know the nuances of human psychology and human relationships and all that kind of stuff. He said gay pride is a sin. So, and we'll change camera angles for this one. There is no such thing as sin at all. Sin is a made-up concept. Religion tried to make up, don't do this, don't do that. Now, are there negatives that come from the things that they refer to as sin? Yes, absolutely. Gluttony, not a great thing to do. Sloth, again, not a great thing to do. But they're not a sin as such. Sin is this idea that you're doing something infinitely terrible on the cosmic spectrum. No, if you're sloth-like, slothy, if you're a bit slothy, then your body will atrophy and you'll have problems walking and talking and doing nature things and looking after yourself. Same with gluttony. Pride, sometimes pride's good. Sometimes it's good to be full of pride. clean your house and be proud of the fact that you cleaned your house, etc., etc. And to suggest that gay pride is a sin is just absolutely absurd. I don't understand these people who are so stuck in the past that they not only believe in sin, but they think that being homosexual is a sin. It boggles my mind. And as we've already sort of quoted, he said that the Second Amendment is worth the cost of some gun deaths. As an Australian who has been shooting, has been to a shooting range, who lives not that far from a pistol range, and I'm pretty sure there's a trap shooting range not that far from me either. You just don't need guns in society the same way that these people think they do. And the as I'm certainly not the first person to bring it up or suggest it, but the interesting thing as well, or the interesting thing for me, is they claim that they need the Second Amendment to rise up against a totalitarian government. Yet when a government is trying to be fascist and totalitarian, they don't seem to have twigged that that's what's happening. They don't seem to have gotten it into their mind that right now their government is doing that. There are all those Trump voters who, well, but lots of burps today, so professional of me. All those Trump voters who voted for Trump and then had their partners or their workers or somebody get taken away by the Gestapo, ICE Gestapo. And they're like, oh, this isn't what I voted for. It's like, yes, you did. You just weren't educated and didn't pay attention enough to vote for it. It never makes sense to me. And I don't think, I was never political as a youngster, but I don't understand how people can't see that it's always bad to have a strong arm, totalitarian, whatever government. To me, governments should never have too much power. They should always be fairly small. And yet, the people who believe in that kind of stuff have voted in a guy, in America especially, and some of them want to do it here for some strange reason. And it's happening in Japan, and it's happening in England, where there seems to be a groundswell of people who don't like immigrants and don't like brown people. And it's interesting that even though racism is a thing everywhere, the Japanese are racist towards certain people. Chinese are probably the same. The inter-Asian hate has always been a thing, just like European hate, where the French and the English don't get on, and the Germans and whoever, and all that kind of stuff. And they've always got these long trails of anti-them and anti-this. Even here in Australia, we have jokes of, I always make fun of Sydney and New South Wales just because I'm from Victoria. So it's just, and I take it as a bit of fun. I'd never try and start a war with another state here. But it's that kind of thing where we always have these disagreements. We're all racist in some way to a certain degree because of our upbringing. But we can get past that, and we can talk about things in a way that hopefully in the future, for future generations, they can maybe have a little bit more peace and calm, and a little bit less government, a little bit less racism, homophobia, all that kind of stuff, because it's really quite stupid and pointless. But anyway, we're going to listen to a song now, and I really hope this doesn't get me into trouble, because I don't think it should. We'll see if you recognize it.
Hello, sir. And what is your name?
Bob McGuire.
And Bob, what are you going to be doing today?
I'm going to be doing an original song I wrote especially for this show.
Okay, here is Bob.
Moon over Parma, bring my love to me tonight. Guide her to East Lake underneath your silvery light. We met in Ashtabula. She was doing the hula. I handed her my radishes and pledged my love safely through Lindale. I can't go to Parma, 'cause my Edsel will not run. Moon over Parma, where the pink flamingos stand. I need her kisses and the soft touch of her hand. We're going bowling, so don't lose her in Solon. Moon over Parma, tonight, I said tonight. Moon over Parma, tonight, tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was Moon Over Palmer,
Chuck, tell the folks how they can.
which you would probably remember if you're a TV fan from the Drew Carey Show. And the bit that's annoying me right now, Bob McGuire, that's the guy's name, Bob McGuire. According to YouTube comments, he passed away in 2019, which is a shame. But that's his song Moon Over Palmer. Again, Drew Carey Show did a version of it where they changed the lyrics a little bit. And it's a fun little song, all about I assume Palmer's a place, and the moon is lighting up the sky so that this lady can get to her man. And yeah, nice little song, and a fun one to learn on guitar. It's on the tabs are on the or the chords and the lyrics are on the internet somewhere. But it's from a time when, at the end of that clip, they say, "Hey, we've got the lyrics and the music. If you would like that, send us a self-addressed envelope and we'll send it out to you." So you send them an envelope, they'll send you a piece of paper. Fantastic stuff back in the day before we had the internet, where you could go look it up and somebody had probably already done it. Anyway, we're going to end the show with something slightly controversial, I guess, even though I've already been a bit controversial. This is a quick timeline of the land of Israel. And the thing that got me is that the Israelites, or the Jews, talk about how Israel was theirs and it should still be theirs and stuff like that. And it gets me thinking about, well, whose land is it? Because if you agree with the Israelites or the Israelis that because in 586 BC, in 1000 BC, King Solomon builds the first temple, that means that that's your land and that you should be allowed to move there and live there and spread out and take other people's houses and kill people and all that kind of stuff. Then who owns England? Who owns Europe? And then also the Native Americans, Native Australians, they should all get their land back, shouldn't they? Doesn't that track? But apparently, according to the Israelites, they get their land and no one else does. And this is such an interesting thing here, because it's King Solomon builds the first temple in 1000 BC. Babylonians destroy the temple 500 years later, 400 years later, something like that. Then construction of the second temple under the Persian Empire in 516 BCE. Then we had the Hellenistic era with Alexander the Great. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Hellenistic era is the Greeks. I believe Hellenistic, whatever, is Greek. Then there's the Hasmonean dynasty, whatever that is. The Jews are back in charge. Then you get to the Roman era, and you have Jesus. Then Romans destroy the second temple. There's the Great Revolt. Constantine converts to Christianity in 324, Common Era, in the Byzantine era. Then the Arab Caliphate takes over, and Islam takes over. Then there's the Crusader era, where the Crusades, we've heard about the Crusades, where the English decided to go back and get it for Christianity. And that was for 200 years or so. Then another Islamic guy took over. Then the Ottomans took over. Then the British Christians took over again, or did a mandate. Not exactly sure of the history there as to how they had the power to do that, but they did, because they spread out and invaded and took over all these places. It just this is obviously an incredibly simplified version of everything, and it says here that it comes from the website travelingisrael.com. So who knows how accurate this is? It's probably very general, in the general throes of what actually happened, remembering the history is always written by the victor, so who knows exactly what happened throughout all these things. But the thing that always gets me as a heathen atheist is all of it's religion based. It's like, oh, our religion says we have that property or that land. We deserve that. We should have that. That should be ours. Really? Because you believe in a sky daddy? And the interesting thing I see here is you've got Islam, Christianity, Judaism all fighting each other. And from the very small amount of research that I did, because this isn't the kind of show where I'm good at doing any kind of research at all. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button here, guys. Hold on 1 second. The amount of religions that have come from this space. Now, apparently this space was very popular when humans migrated up from Africa and we came through this area. But the quoting here from Wikipedia, so take it as trustworthy or not. In the Iron Age, the kingdoms of Israel and Judah were established, entities that were central to the origins of Jewish and Samaritan people, as well as the Abrahamic faith tradition. This has given rise to Judaism, Samaritanism, Christianity, Islam, Druidism, Baha'ism, and a variety of other religious movements. And this is the thing that gets me as a non-religious person. Who gives a rat's? Why are you putting so much effort into believing in this one thing and why do you then have to kill and destroy and take over? Why can't you just live and be free, like a free spirit, and just, you know what I mean? Like, just get on the road and be a nomad and believe in your God. Why does religion seem to just pull you and say, this is our land, we need this land? Anyway, I don't have the answers. If you have the answers, comment, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much for listening all this way, because that's impressive, because this has been a ramble of a depressing show. I hope that in the future I'm going to get things together a little bit more and we can have a little bit more fun with these shows instead of them being a little bit depressing like today's one was. But anyway, Moon Over Palmer by Bob, what did I say? Bob what? Bob McGuire on the YouTubes if you want to re-listen to that song. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the future.